My father kept a second family in our basement. Last week I found out the horrifying reason why. My dad has been feeding people in our basement for as long as I can remember. Every night at exactly 8:47, he would grab the leftover dinner, walk downstairs for 20 minutes, then come back up with an empty plate. I used to think this was completely normal until I realized how messed up it actually was. When I was 6, I asked my mom about the voices coming from downstairs. She just lit another cigarette and said, "Your father handles the basement. You handle upstairs." Her hands were shaking the whole time she said it. I could tell she was scared, but I didn't know why. The basement door was always locked with this huge deadbolt. I tried opening it once when I was 8, and my dad caught me. His face went completely white. He told me to never go down there because they weren't ready to meet me yet, but I could hear them. A little girl singing, a baby crying at 3 in the morning. Christmas was the weirdest time because my dad would bring 2 sets of presents. One pile for me, and another armload that disappeared downstairs. I'd hear kids screaming with excitement while I opened my gifts alone upstairs. Mom would just chain smoke by the window, staring at nothing. When I turned 12, everything changed. The singing stopped. No more laughter. No more voices. Just complete silence. But Dad still brought food down every single night. He'd come back up faster though, looking sick. Mom started drinking wine for breakfast. I convinced my best friend Trevor to sleep over that weekend. Maybe if someone else was there, Dad would finally explain what was going on. But at 8:47, he grabbed the plate like always. Trevor followed me to the basement door. That's when we heard her. A woman's voice, desperate and hollow. "Please let us out. Austin's getting older. He'll understand now. We've been good. We've been so good." Trevor's face went completely white. "Dude, that's messed up. We should call someone." But Dad was already coming back up. He saw us by the door and dropped the plate. It shattered everywhere. "Boys, go to Austin's room. Now." That night I heard my parents fighting for hours. Mom was sobbing, saying they couldn't keep doing this. Dad kept repeating, "They need to stay down there. You know what happens if they don't." The next morning, Trevor's parents picked him up early. He wouldn't even look at me. At school Monday, he told everyone my family was crazy. Kids started avoiding me like I had some kind of disease. For 3 more years, the routine continued. But the voices got quieter. Sometimes days would pass without any sounds. Dad looked gray and hollow. Mom barely spoke anymore. Last week, I found the key. Dad left his work jacket on the kitchen chair while he showered. I searched the pockets and found this small brass key that made my stomach drop. I knew exactly what it was for. I waited until 2 in the morning when my parents were asleep. My hands were shaking as I unlocked the basement door. The smell hit me first. Something sweet and rotten, like flowers that had been sitting in water for weeks. I turned on my phone flashlight and walked down the wooden steps. The basement was set up like a little apartment with a kitchen and living room and bedroom. There were children's toys scattered on moldy carpet. In the first bedroom, I found them. A woman in a yellow dress, sitting in a rocking chair with her head tilted wrong. 2 kids in bunk beds. A girl about 8 and a toddler in diapers. They weren't moving. They weren't breathing. They'd been dead for years, but their skin looked fresh. No decay. No bugs. Like they died yesterday instead of when I was little. I knocked over a photo on the nightstand. It was my dad with this woman and these kids, all smiling. The date said 2011, 3 years before I was born. That's when I understood. This wasn't my dad's second family. This was his first family, the one that died before Mom got pregnant with me. I ran upstairs and confronted my parents the next morning. Mom finally told me the truth through tears. Dad's wife and kids died from carbon monoxide while he was at work, but their bodies never decomposed. They just stayed. When strange things started happening, voices, toys moving by themselves, Dad couldn't let them go. He built them rooms and pretended they were still alive. Brought them food every night. "Your father never accepted they were gone," Mom whispered. "And they never left. Dad said they were protecting us, keeping us safe. They're not haunting us. They're family." But yesterday I realized the horrible truth. I was in the basement trying to understand when I heard the little girl, "Hi Austin, Daddy talks about you all the time." I spun around, but nobody was there. Then I saw my reflection in the old TV screen. But it wasn't just me. They were standing behind me, all 3 of them. The woman put her cold hand on my shoulder and smiled with black teeth. "We've been waiting so long to meet you," she whispered. "Now you can stay downstairs with us." The basement door slammed shut. I heard my father turn the lock. "I'm sorry, Austin," he called through the door. "But they were getting lonely. And your family too. I've been down here for 2 days now. The woman makes me call her mom. The kids want me to play games that never end. They don't need food or water. But I'm starting to understand why Dad brought dinner every night. It wasn't for them. It was so they wouldn't come upstairs looking for us.